Let's have a look at single axis straightness. Here we can change the measurement conditions. The units can be millimeters or inches. The input can be from a keyboard, from a Tutorial 6 if connected, or an autocollimator. In this case we have an autocollimator connected. We can choose the sample points, which is for averaging. For single axis, just the y-axis, but for dual axis we can choose which axis. We can choose to invert the y-axis. It's very important to remember that if you have already inverted it in the Electro-Optics autocollimator program, doing this will invert again and go back to uninverted. So you need to be very careful that you only invert once if you intend the data to be upside down. And we can apply a statistical filter. There's also the ability to choose the type of line which will be fitted to the results of the straightness, either a least squares, an end zero, which means either end will be the 0 point, minimum zone, two parallel lines a minimum distance apart, or just straight from the instrument itself with no line fitted. In this instance we'll use a least squares. When we're measuring, either the mirror or a Tutorial 6 if it's moving along will move along in a certain step length. Here we've set it to 100 millimeters. The type of reference data will be either through an optical square so that we note that it's been turned through 90 degrees, but in this method we're using none. And we can choose to have the output as a gradient instead of angles. So once we are happy with the configuration we've set, we can save that as a file name and then at a later date call that back as a previously set configuration to save doing this every time. The final two are the return to home page, which takes us back, or proceed to do a straightness measurement using these conditions.